You know, I've always loved cowboy movies, I've always loved westerns, and growing up around here, I've always thought, man, we could make a really cool cowboy movie here. It's the Pavlova Western, so it's the same concept of the spaghetti western. It's like if Sergio Leone can do it in Italy and Spain, then why can't we do it here?
The pavlova is New Zealand's national dish. It's a meringue-based dessert.
Yeah, I mean, there's curry westerns, there's noodle westerns, there's all these other types of westerns as well. New Zealand hadn't joined that international tradition yet, so we thought, why not?
Since I was a young kid, I used to come here to Central Otago, an area that just for me is just complete cowboys. And I had this little Crossman pistol, and I'd hear the bullets ricocheting off. Think about cowboys and Indians.
Westerns are kind of like where movies came from, you know?
You'll get the money when they're dead.
The fun kind of movies you used to watch on a Saturday afternoon.
We ride at first light.
Well, Inge and I have been working at Weta Digital for a long time.
We started looking at buying a house.
We tried to buy a house several times and they'd all fallen through.
We were both actually feeling relief and not disappointment, and turned to each other, and Mike was like,
I don't want to buy a house. And she said,
yeah, me neither. And he said, I want to make movies. And I said, yeah, me too.
so we decided to give it a shot.
Threw that plan out the window and went, right, we're just going ahead and making a film.
I don't have a cure for what you get.
Hi, I'm Barney Duncan. No, I never said I was good.
I'm in the middle of my supper.
The man we're after is a dangerous, ruthless murderer.
Cohen Holloway, who would play the lead, was the first person to audition.
So I turned up for the audition. I had a really short haircut, didn't look like a cowboy at all, and I was going, and I looked 12.
Cohen wasn't what we'd imagined at all. He's going to love me saying this. He was much more good looking, and he was a lot more charming than we originally imagined for the man.
The man comes from the man with no name, you know, Clint Eastwood. There's no way I'm going to get this, but it's a Western, and my dad loves Westerns. I'll give it my best.
He made the character his own. We almost couldn't go back to what we'd imagined because he was different but better.
We then proceeded to go to every city around the country trying to find another person, but it was the first audition all along. It was good to be thorough.
I think the hardest part was believing as a Kiwi that you can play a quintessential American character. But there is the man in New Zealand, the rugged farmer out in the beating sun. Kiwis are very understated, so there was a lot of Kiwi still in the man.
I always had Inge in mind because I wanted a strong female character, someone with a fiery willpower. She was like the rock the sea breaks against. And I knew that Inge had those qualities. When she goes through everything she goes through with him, how horrendous it is, she's not broken by that. No matter how physical he got with her, emotionally she would prevail.
One of the main ideas behind doing a Western was that you get a lot of the value out of the landscapes.
The Mackenzie country is in the middle of the South Island of New Zealand, and it's a great diverse country.
We've got a beautiful lake like Tekapo right there, and then behind me is this massive big plains where, you know, we're filming a lot of the cowboy stuff. And then on the other side there's snow-capped mountains within just kilometres of each other.
We spent about 3 years every Christmas going down south and looking at locations.
Everywhere you look around there, it's a beautiful area, and it's one of my favourite areas to shoot.
Graham Murray down there, he was really awesome, and he would ring up farmers. The farmers were really amazing with just being so supportive.
So this is Bendigo, it's sort of a ghost town, and this is where we use the exterior of the Indian hut.
Hot day.
This is a national treasure, this building. It's an old mining hut. We needed to find somewhere else to do the inside because it's just too small. This is Obelisk Station. This is the interior of the Indian hut. We needed to decrease the size of it because it's too big for actually what the exterior was. So we used some hessian just to make a wall here, created a separate room. This is the first look at Bannockburn sluicings. It looks just like out of the old westerns. You've got to walk in here to get here, and you've got to get special permission from DOC, which is the Department of Conservation. Just thought they were great. This is great cowboy country. We were sort of 2 months away from shooting, and we didn't have our key location. We needed a big valley with a tree in it. This is literally 3 minutes outside of Tekapo, and we pulled up at the side of the road, and I said, look, I just want to have a look over here. I put my iPod on, and I was listening to it for a fistful of dollars, and the song, it builds up, you know, the trumpets build and build and build and build. And as I was coming up, the music was crescendoing as I came up over this rise to reveal Hanover Valley with the tree in it and a perfect valley, just as the music was building. And there it was, perfect. It was an amazing moment.
So Inge found Mellon's Folly Ranch and we went there for my 30th birthday as a surprise. It was unbelievable because it's like, who has a western town? This Auckland businessman built one an hour west of Aokuni, which is in the middle of nowhere. Once I saw that, I knew it was fantastic because I knew how we could shoot it, I knew how I could work it into the story, so from there we used that as our location.
Man test makeup number 1.
This is a sweat test.
Gone to town on it.
It's my range of movement. Right there.
I wanted to direct and Inge wanted to act. And in order to do that, we needed to make a film. So we decided to produce the film together.
That's the Bannockburn one, so we still need to do.
We were on a really tight budget. So one of the ideas we came up with was to create a trailer full of all the equipment you need to shoot a feature film. And we could go out and do a longer shoot and we wouldn't have ongoing rental costs.
Steadicam, dolly tracks, dolly, ladders and stuff like that.
And my cousin and I built this crane, put a hot head on it, and he created a hot head remote with a remote control car controller, and it worked great. Another way to keep our costs down was that I became the armourer.
X-Split, take 1. Thank you.
I spent a year getting my theatrical gun licence. Getting in the armourer licence affected how I was writing the script. To load one of those cap and ball guns, it takes 15 minutes. A gunfight only lasts 6 shots per person, which isn't a lot of bullets in a gunfight. That sort of informed the whole idea of everybody running out of bullets.
Wow,
Blood's a great colour.
that's horrible. It's like eating a wet cigar. That is gnarly.
Okay, roll the horses.
The Kingston Flyer is a working steam train in the South Island of New Zealand.
They were really supportive and said, yep, we just had to pay for the coal, which is actually quite expensive.
Alright, so we're going to do exactly the same as we did before, just turning around and riding off.
Scene 7, Charlie, take 2.
Right.
Lovely day, Inge.
It is, lunchtime.
Yeah.
For both of us.
Yeah. Oh, Red's behaving well.
Reed was amazing. I used to joke that if he wasn't as amazing as he was, we would still be down there shooting.
We were pretty lucky that we had an amazing horse. It was our hero horse that travelled with us. It was great.
I lied and said I could ride a horse because I wanted the role. Mike Kinnison-Smith, who's amazing, he taught me how to ride a horse.
Morning, Mike.
Morning, Dad.
A bit fresh this morning?
It is fresh.
Yeah.
Heaps of fun, you know. Guns, horses, beautiful locations, blood, Indians, arrows. It's a recipe for good times.
This is the last day of Greg's edit.
Let's see, how did I get involved?
I was cutting for Weta Productions. Jamie Selkirk came in and he told me about this Western that was shot on the South Island, and I didn't know that a Western could be shot in New Zealand.
A Western hasn't been made in New Zealand before, and it's sort of a fairly tricky area to sort of get into. And I introduced him to Greg Daniels, who I thought would be the man for the job because he was an up-and-coming editor. I just gave some notes and I left him to it for a bit, and that's really how I got involved.
And Mike and Inge screened it for me. I actually felt like I could help.
Yeah, no, it is. It's taking it down.
I thought it was like 12 to 16 frames too long to find what the shot you're talking about.
They make it all in their own time, and I think it's a credit to them.
We're just putting the final touches on our polished edit. I think that's it.
It was a sort of a nice feel about the movie. I talked to my wife and decided to say, well, why don't we sort of throw a bit of money at it, so at least see if we can get it to a stage where it's sort of ready to go, you know.
We thought there would always be visual effects in the film. We thought there would be about 40. But once we got the cabin, that changed everything.
We looked in the South Island, we looked in the North Island, we just really couldn't find the right location. Zoe Wilson, our art director, said to Mike, I think we can build this, which was, very ambitious. Honestly, seeing it, just this heap of polystyrene to when it became an actual cabin was phenomenal.
It had a green screen in the back, so suddenly our shot count of 40 went to about 180, which is a massive amount of visual effects shots for an independent film. We were lucky enough because we worked at Weta Digital to have friends at Weta that were willing to help us out in their own time.
Well, I'd been offered films before, but when I saw Good for Nothing, I just fell in love with it. I really wanted to be a part of the film.
You know, the macho guitar, sort of doing the... Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
It was an absolute thrill to get John on board.
And look at the cuts. Really big orchestra there for the posse.
John is a world-renowned composer. He wanted this to be his first film score.
The film has a lot of silence in it. I always imagined that the script would be like 3 pages, because that's how much dialogue I felt was in the film. Acoustic guitar. What that meant for me was that I had a huge canvas and I could write longer pieces too. Some of the pieces I wrote were 5 or 6 minutes long, which is long for a film. It's just a matter of getting a lot of fullness, in the bottom end for this. All of the music in this film is unlike any other music I've ever written. It gave me license to write in any style and still be myself.
Take 4, click from it.
Hey, that's great, Joe.
Yeah, we had some session recordings a couple of weeks ago, and we heard some guitars and things like this, but this will be the first time with an orchestra.
We'll just play off the new parts from now.
Yeah, because the NZSO is really a world-class orchestra. I wrote really fast music, but they played really well and really tight. But also when I needed the dirt and the grit, they understood how to do that, by using the low part of the bow or certain kinds of mallets on the percussion, to create the sound that fitted in the world of the film.
So we're getting into the kind of action-y stuff now for a while.
Here we are, doing up screeners for Good for Nothing. We are picking the posters to go to Santa Barbara.
We were blown away by the response that we got at the festival. It was even more than we could have hoped for.
Theatre where the film's playing. In about 3 hours, we'll probably cut to it and just be bam, full of people. How are the screens of your film going? Unbelievably well, so exciting. We've been sold out.
And what did Leonard Maltin say about your film?
came and saw our film, and he wrote a pretty good review. Leonard-in-law? Wow. The film's going so well, people are handing me their babies.
We fell in love and got engaged. So we've been engaged for like 4 years now, because the movie's taken up all the time. So the idea is when the movie's finished, or which is just when we can get married. But
they've achieved a movie that I think is quite outstanding.
I was showing my old man on the Facebook site, and my old man loves westerns, and he doesn't choke up at anything, and he kind of looks at the picture and he goes, "Yep, it's pretty good."
I really take my hat off to Mike and Inge for seeing it through to the end, and they did an amazing job.
And I feel very proud of everyone involved in this. It's one of the things I'm really, really proud of. I can't wait for it to come out.
People have asked me, would you do it again? And I'd say in a heartbeat. It's been an amazing experience with what we've learned, the people we've met, the experiences we've had. Just everything all together has just been incredible, and I would do it again in a heartbeat, yes.
I feel really proud of the outcome. I feel like, we've done the best we could with the resources we had. And I feel like we gave it everything we could, so I hope it plays well and I hope people enjoy it,